Greetings, greetings, greetings. It is me again, your host, Chantel Sierra Tishakim, coming in live from the streets in the world, all right? So today our conversation is going to be a story time. I hope you all are doing well. I hope as we are coming into this spring frequency that you really began to think about the things that you want to achieve, the things you want to have, the things you want to be, the person you want to be, the things you want to have, and the things you want to do. Springtime is definitely a time of harvest, in a sense of seeing the abundance beginning to take root or begin to flower in a way that brings us the things that we deserve. As we've talked about before, I've talked about, having to go into the mud, or the flower, or the lotus in particular, having to come up out of the mud and into her full form. And this is really what this embracing the Queen Within journey has been for me. Today is day number 102. Whoop, whoop. I have been in the highest frequency of the good vibes only energy for the last few days this weekend, just celebrating being able to consistently show up in my true authentic, in my true authentic, as my true authentic self. Many of you who have joined me on this TikTok have experienced a lot with me in these 102 days, and I'm so thankful. So the last few posts live were all about moving energy in motion and how we do that, knowing that we are energetic beings and we hold frequency, we hold vibration, we hold the good, the bad, and the ugly. But how it manifests in our lives is truly determined by our own decisions, by our own choices. I know this week for me, it was all about celebrating the freedom of just being me. So I was able to meet one of my friends who is a beautiful vocalist and singer and entertainer. And I was able to spend some time in his energy, in his frequency, and really hone in on purging out some of the old energies that I have been holding. And it was such a freeing revelation. It was so enlightening to just be in the rhythm and the vibration of music. I don't know how many of you find music to be a very instrumental tool in shifting your energy, your vibration, your flow. But what I found in my walk in this spiritual journey, that music has been very instrumental. Music for me is like the ocean, which is my happy place, right? I'm so excited to be able to tune into frequencies of music that support my highest vibration. We have to remember that, our vibration and our frequency is determined by the things we feed ourselves, whether it be our food, whether it be our music, the books we read, the conversations we have. It is all frequency, it's all vibration, and it all impacts us in this now reality, one way or another. So for me, being able to tap into the frequency of love, as you know, and loving myself unconditionally has been truly inspirational and a breath of fresh air, needless to say. I had an opportunity to also, while I was out, meet some really awesome people, some awesome artists who will be helping me move into this Good Vibes Lounge in a actual physical location outside of the House of Shakim. I have spoken on House of Shakim a couple of times, being my business where I help women find their true identity and also tap into emotional self-regulation while also connecting to their ancestors in ancestral veneration. So all of these things are near and dear to my heart, while I coach them in just general life design and lifestyle blueprinting, through the Align framework. We are all beginning to shift into this new frequency. And for me, I'm choosing into this new frequency. And for me, I'm choosing the good vibes only frequency. Because in that space, everything else that I desire is being found. I want to really inspire us to really take the time this week as we come into this new week, as we come into this next phase of the moon, and just really getting focused about what it is that you see for your life. How are you cleaning up your mind, your clutter, the things that hold you back, the limiting beliefs? How are you beginning to really show up as your true, authentic self? I know this TikTok site for me has been a very instrumental place of finding myself, finding not only my true identity, but playing with the little girl within me to find her. This has truly been a embracing the queen within experience. And as I'm experiencing it, it's really showing me so much about what my life really means, and how I can be impactful by just being me, not looking at the titles that I've carried or the role that I've played in individuals' lives to support them, but truly finding that unique essence of my I am. This year I've done so much in the study of the Mayan calendar or the galactic calendar, and really began to harness the energy of my galactic signature, being Kin 107. Kin 107 is a galactic activation portal. Kin number 7 also represents the blue electric hand. For those of you who are into the Mayan calendar or the galactic calendar, you may understand what I'm speaking of. But for those of you who don't, this is a new frequency. This is a new broadcast. This is a new energy that is ancient. How about that? That has been around for a long, long time, even before our Gregorian calendar time. And this has been the magic behind time and energy and resource, and really beginning to see the world unfold or come together, whichever you imagine it to be, in a place of synchronicity and understanding the tones of the day and understanding the different glyphs and what they've meant, has really opened me up to a new way of seeing life and showing up in life and playing in the energy of life to create outcomes specifically in my life that not only support me in a high vibrational, joyful, full of love, full of bliss type of support, but also to enlighten me into what it is to be a creative being. I know right now, even in our culture right now, especially around the world, I guess you could say, this TikTok has been a saving grace for so many people to begin to show up and share their gifts, share their talents, share share their wisdom, share their knowledge, share their ideas, their beliefs, and begin to be content creators. I want that word to just settle in to the audience today. Content creator. What is this content that we are actively creating in our reality every day? So many of us have spent time, scrolling on social media, scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Instagram, reading about others and their lives and what they're sharing and how, it looks all put together, to say the least. But the content is being created for the audience to begin to imagine, I would say. Imagine what it would be like to live your best life now. At least for me, it has been an experience of seeing that thoughts truly can become things. And the more we take the time to tap into what it is we really want to experience in our life, the more the vibrations attract those types of experiences, in fact, into our life. I'm setting in this vibration today in just a space of coming out of the void of where I had seen my life and the way I had lived my life and the expectations and goals and dreams that I had for my life being shifted into a place of void. In this place of void, I began to examine my true identity, examine how my ego showed up to protect me and keep me in this survival frequency, as the world talks about, survival of the fittest, and following that path and doing the things that I thought would be most appropriate for the life that I was choosing to live, only to find myself still wanting for something more, reaching the pinnacle of what I felt was the top of my regular 9 to 5, and then moving into, other arenas of coaching and teaching and training, to now being in a place where I get to do it all in a way that I've always imagined. This has been with intention, setting an intention for what it is I wanted out of my life and not settling for anything less than. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome in. Are you ready to come into the room, come into the space? If you are, please say join now, because I have been talking to save space and save time. If you're not available, that's fine. Just let me know that as well. But I am here with the hostess. I am the hostess with the mostest, really wanting to bring in an artist who I was able to witness the artistry of his work and get him to come in and say a few words. If he is available, we have Nick Smooth. Are you available? Well, maybe he's not available. So, I will just continue. Where was I? We were going to do a story time. If you're able to request to join, just request to join. Otherwise, we'll keep it moving, don't stop. Because, this life that we're living is, in fact, a nonstop life. It continues, it ebbs, it flows. it grows, it expands, it contracts, and I was talking about finding myself in the void, finding myself in this space of contraction, not knowing what comes next. After reaching the pinnacle of all that I knew I was supposed to do, reaching the pinnacle, and then saying, okay, what's next? Because obviously this wasn't it. And once I did that, I found myself in this new place of being a master manifester. I know some people say, you don't manifest anything, you don't create anything, all things have already been created. And I would have to agree with that as well. But it's like, even if all things have always been created, they don't get the opportunity to be manifested until someone is able to carry and hold the frequency of it long enough for it to manifest. And when I began to think about that, I started to look at my life and look at how I wanted to truly begin to live my best life now. And what did that look like to me? And the first thing that came up was freedom. Freedom of my time, right? Freedom to live without the hustle and bustle of time. The freedom to not have to clock somebody else's time clock. All of those things were important to me. To be able to be impactful and inspirational to the women and people around me. To be able to speak my truth in love while still feeling that I'm being supported. And now I know it's not even the support of someone outside of me, but being able to support myself and holding that vibration. And in that space, I'm finding that there are frequency holders in the world. And I, in fact, am one of them. There's a frequency of love, there's a frequency of joy, there's a frequency of bliss, and there's a frequency of, nostalgia. There's all these frequencies and vibrations that we get to hold, right? For me, I have began to learn to hold the frequency of joy. The frequency of joy and the frequency of love. And in those frequencies, you can create. You are abundant. You are unstoppable, unmovable, unshakable. But you have to be able to hold the frequency. So this is what I'm learning to do, even as I'm speaking out and speaking my truth in love, to show up in wherever I'm showing up, to be a light in the darkness, as I shared last week. The Queen of Fua rites of passage and my practitionership with that program and holding space with women really brought so much joy to my life, even in the midst of trials and tribulations. But tapping into the ancestral veneration allowed me to gain wisdom and insight that connected to situations and circumstances that these young ladies and women were experiencing, to begin to shine light in the darkness, right? Because sometimes as I was speaking, I found myself in that place of void. And it's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do here. So I had to begin to just sit in that space and ask questions like, what's next? Where should my focus be? How do I move forward in the frequency of good vibes while still meeting the expectations of the day, or meeting the needs of the day? How do I continue to make ends meet while still believing in the dream? And that's where the whole how good can it get came in. We often spiral out of control and become emotionally dysregulated when we don't know what to do next. One of the tarot cards, I believe it is the Two of Swords, says when we are blinded by the unknown, we can trust ourselves to move towards the brightest light. And that's one card that really stands out to me, because how often do we trust ourselves? You know, we will trust ourselves to live according to other rules or limiting beliefs that the world has bestowed on us. But can we trust ourselves when everything that we believe sends us in a direction that seems to be going against the grain? How can we truly begin to hold our vibration, hold our frequency, hold our life force, and begin to manifest our dreams and visions? Well, that's something that I'm actively learning as well. You know, as I continue to work with my divine reflections, my sisters, holding space, being vulnerable, speaking truths in love, you know, sharing our visions, sharing our story times, sharing where we've been and what we're going through, so that we can truly begin to be a light for others. It's often, you know, in some circles where the woman or the sister wound is there, and it makes us not want to trust. It makes us not be able to be vulnerable. It may cause areas of judgment. But let me say this: the moment that you can be okay with your shadow, it really allows others to be okay with theirs. Nobody has arrived. No one has accomplished. No one has reached the highest heights of their human experience. But we can all work together to grow, glow, and flow and expand our human experience through vulnerability. We all need to know that we're not in this alone, that there is so much more that we can do in the frequency of joy, in the frequency of love, in the frequency of oneness, and in the frequency of creating new stories to our existence. This is why I've been sent. I'm learning more and more each day that I can trust myself. I can trust myself to go within so I don't do without. I can trust myself to speak truth even if I stand out. I can trust myself to love myself unconditionally and without a doubt, and know that everything else will really truly smooth out. As I show up every day, as I continue on my journey of embracing the Queen within, aligning to the universal laws of nature. You know, we have all is mind. We have the law of correspondence. We have polarity, rhythm, gender. We have all of these universal laws that govern our energetic being. And the moment we can align and tune in, tap in, and turn on, we can change these channels, y'all. We can do the unimaginable, y'all. But it truly takes holding the vibration long enough. I know I am in this frequency of learning patience, learning that patience is a frequency of love as well. And the longer that we can do the work and be patient by holding the vision, it will surely come. So I'm in this frequency of holding the vision for Good Vibes Lounge to have a physical location outside of the House of Shakim. I am seeing this being manifested. I am seeing the connections, the resources, the people, and the supporters coming in. I see that everything that we desires us first. So the moment that we can really align to that, the quicker it manifests in our reality. So this is where I am. I do work with women to align to your purpose, come show up as your true authentic self, activate the ancestral wisdom within you, and unlock your intuition in a way that you don't doubt yourself. We are our biggest fan. and our worst enemy. There's no one that can keep you from being the best you can be. So I am just coming on here to fulfill my session on going live every day for the 102 days. I wasn't able to upload day 100 or day 101 yet, but by the time this one is uploaded, all of them will be uploaded from this amazing weekend with amazing music, seeing amazing artists at their best. You know, music, frequency, vibration can take us into dimensions and open portals that we never intended or that we never knew could be open to the new frequency that we need to hold. So I am just tapping in and really wanting to just expand a little love, put a little love in your heart for this day as we do this vibes chat. I think I'm going to be doing a little more vibes chats. I would love to have feedback. I would love to get some of my other content creator friends on here to share in this energy of creating our new reality. If you want to go live with me, if we can have some candid conversations, I'm open to it, because this is how divine connections are made, and this is how worlds and lives are changed, by us speaking our truth, by us showing up and showing out, and by us truly being all that we were sent to be. Energy, frequency, vibration manifested in you and me. So I am not going to hold it any longer. I hope I've met my time frame for tonight, but I did want to come in here live and let you know that tomorrow we will be right back doing it live, tapping into universal energy. I want to also invite those of you who haven't already to please join us in the sanctuary on the SKOOL school platform, where we are diving into these universal principles. We are diving into lifestyle design. We are diving into meditation, breath work, yoga. We are diving into spirituality and practical tools to harness your community of women who are doing this work. We are calling in all of the light workers, as they would say, all of the energetic healers, all of those that are seeking to find their gifts, advance their gifts, or experience their gifts in the safety and security of a platform or a community that is all about growing, glowing, and flowing. You know, there's so much available to us for free. We have the sanctuary open until we reach 100 members, and we are almost there, y'all. We probably have maybe a week or two left before we will max out, and this is a free lifetime connection to women who are doing this work and who are wanting to share their gifts and services. As you know, I am a holistic self-care coach and soul guide, where we navigate experiences of life, breaking ancestral trauma cycles, and also regulating our nervous system through practical spirituality, finding our true identity, and beginning to work it out by creating a signature lifetime blueprint that was already here from the time you entered. But we can create that together and get really, really clear, as I was talking about our kins and your galactic signature, and knowing truly what it is we are supposed to do once we come to this place of saying, hey, I did all that I knew I was supposed to do. Now what's next? There is great work for you. So if you came in later on this and you want to see the repeat, it will be on my Circle of Sisters Table Talk podcast on YouTube. And also, you can follow me on goodvibesloungellc.com, for all of the upcoming events and things that we'll be doing within the House of Shechem for the month of April and May. So I am your host, Chantel Sierra Tishakim, coming on again for my 102 days of going live, living aligned and crowned, embracing the queen within, and speaking up and fixing crowns in the process. So until tomorrow, I'm sending you all so much peace, love, and good vibes always. Good night.